For some of you that are familiar with a certain group of YouTubers that are bundled together who were known as the title they were given to be presented by from PM Rants, may suggest that the word or name BoobTubers may find something familiar to that, so I'll try to bring you up to speed here about, for those who are new to what BoobTubers are, to the obvious point. BoobTubers are basically this group that you have of ladies who would actually use their tits rather than their own sense of logic, reasoning, understanding, or any sort of value that they would put into their content. So rather they can actually make more views and more money by showing off their tits rather than speak anything interesting at all. So basically what they were also bundled into was called Reply Girls, where they would make about maybe a minute or two, or maybe just at least 3 minutes of a response, basically leeching off of views to those who actually deserve more of it than to those who basically, it goes to the ones who've been showing off their boobs or exploiting their own sexual parts for the naive fanboys or even fangirls, depending on that sort of outcome, most likely boys. Which is about probably preteens to teenagers, which really kind of disturbs me from this group. And there's a little bit more about this I need to get onto before we get into that part of the subject. To also remember that this is YouTube, which is a public website which can be used by both children and adults. I mean, there's also in between the factors of preteens and teenagers, but yes, basically to separate along that line, it can be used by adults, but it can also be used by kids. Now, when you have these sort of contents creators like this, and I'm not saying content creators is the complimentary way, I'm talking about if you have this sort of content creators such as this, it really just strikes among controversial subjects, depending on which, when you view these certain YouTubers, you start to question to yourself, is it worth looking at this YouTuber? To me, obviously, my answer is no. To a lot of people, no as well. But this certain YouTuber who actually has now basically, how would I put this? I wouldn't say more like a resurrection to that sort of thing, because let's just name out these certain ones that I'm familiar with. We had the one who was synonymous with the whole BoobTubers and Reply Girls thing is basically Miss Hannah Minks, basically mostly synonymous. We also had, can't even remember her username, she was like accent, or she had like an accent, but there was another one who I knew as Megan Speaks, and from my own opinion, and I'm just going to say this just to keep in my own, subjective manner, my own opinions, she did the exact same thing. She was exploiting her boobs, and to me, she's no saint at all, so. But we're going to fast forward through all that, and we're going to move right on to right now from one person who has now began to done the just... I'm sorry, my words are so off again, so I apologize. What really begins this little resurrection of flaunting their tits and all this such brings this new user by the name of Christy Thinks. And holy shit, if you thought Miss Hannah Mink's boobs were something to be surprised about when you saw them, when you watched the little video like the Fedora advice, holy fucking shit. It looks like her boobs are like suffocating. If you ever watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and Violet Beauregard is like blowing up like a fucking balloon or a fucking blueberry, holy crap. There was one person who actually zoomed in purposely just for that purpose of just trying to make some jokes at it. You could see the veins popping out of that shit. And to me, like I said, being that this is YouTube, I find that disturbing as well, because, and hear me out here, you have kids, little preteens or teenagers who watch this sort of thing. Now, if I want to see something like this, something that pertains to boobs or being nearly exposed, being that it's basically almost nearly exposed at that point, but if I wanted to see something like this, I would have gone onto a porn site, okay? That's basically where my limits draw between a public website and a porn website would be at. So I would not want this sort of person on YouTube. There's a lot of things a lot of mediocre things, a lot of sexual things, a lot of untasteful, ungrateful, and disturbing things that I do not want on YouTube, in my opinion, into a subjective manner, and this is one of them. Nothing like this that is so sexualizing onto a public website where little kids can actually watch this. Because basically, when flaunting your boobs, or to this certain individual, and you are flaunting your boobs, or actually showing your boobs as well to a whole entire naive audience, not generalizing, basically, that is just going to show you that this does nothing more than just inflate views and money, because basically you're whoring yourself out by just showing your own tits. Pardon the repetitious nature of the sentences, but that's just what I have to roll with. But I don't find anything entertaining about this content. I don't find anything that's sourceful from it. And actually, of course, when you watch the videos, just like it's sometimes with a certain amount, even when she covers up, she gets nowhere near the amounts of views that she does where her tits are nearly exposed. When she's wearing a little red shirt, 1,696 views, but when you see her tits hanging out, holy crap, 10,378 views. It basically stems out to that point, ladies and gentlemen. You don't even have to ask me for proof. You can go on there for yourself, whatever. I'm not going to provide the link because I'm not trying to promote this person who has been nothing much than a attention-seeking whore. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I just said it. Attention-seeking whore. Basically, you can bundle her along with the other reply girls and nothing more as attention whores. That's basically, that's the root of it. But yeah, and I can go to more on that. I mean, you still have her 2,600, 7,500, and then of course you have 74,877 views on her Fedora advice video, which her tits are nearly close to just popping out those little tiny little nipple parts, and it's just disturbing. Yes, for those naive fanboys or whatever, throw your little gay jokes, do whatever you like, because this is not the type of content that I would like to be seen on here. If I want to see some good content, I would see someone making a movie, making a fan-based movie off of something. Hey, Joker blogs, for example, that's something to watch. I mean, that shit is entertaining in my own process, but even though that's subjective of me to say, because there's some people who may not enjoy that, that's just for me just giving out my own thoughts, my own opinions about what I feel about what I think is entertaining. Metal Motivation, check that guy out. He's actually good when it comes to advice. Who else? I mean, Must Destroy All. He's pretty good at destroying people when it comes to certain subjects. So you can go to Vlog Rays. You can go to Some Guy 827, Shelby X Pones, Undertaker Freak 1127, Camia Mams, who is also known as Electric Unicycle Crew. Many more who I can think of. MEM Bassist, he actually used to go by the name of MEM Bassist. I think he still goes by Ice Dragon now, but those certain types of YouTubers. And let's not forget to mention I Am Mr. Cole Productions, who's a very good friend of mine. But getting off I'm kind of getting off subject, so I just want to stay to where I am. Ladies and gentlemen, why? Why is it that YouTube just pertains so much that caring about, you know, their so-called automated system with other YouTube channels, but when stuff like this gets put out, it's pretty much okay. And that's just my opinion in question, and I know what I could be asking here can be a little bit crossing a line here, but this is her, like, showing off nearly 3/4 of her tits, for fuck's sake. So I just want to give you a little food for thought on that. And there's so many more videos that I need to do over because, you know, there's a couple more subjects I want to talk about. There was a Fred Phelps thing that I also wanted to get over, and then there's the Ray William Johnson thing, which I'm not fucking surprised, but I'll get to those later on. But this is the video I just wanted to put on for now, because I'm just sick and tired of people like this leeching off of views and gaining money for those who actually deserve it when it comes to entertaining content. And, you know, it's really unfair to people that they can't really gain as much as this person who's done nothing more than just speak out of their ass for merely a minute or two, just showing off her breasts. It's bullshit, and it's bullshitting, and it needs to go away. I'm sorry. And I know that it sounds a little bit more of like what I'm saying from PM Rants, but he is right about these sort of YouTubers. And also, PM Rants is also another good YouTuber you should also check out too. His stuff is entertaining. I do recommend you check him out as well. But anyways, that's the time I'm going to have on this video. That's just where I'm just going to stem out to. If any of this ever occurs, and if I ever get certain responses from people because I called them out, like Miss Hannah Meeks, Megan Speaks, or whatever, even anyone connected to that, well, sorry, but I'm ready to take it. But I'm not trying to bring stuff back up, but I'm just trying to give you the little information from the past and how it kind of relevates into, you know, the present right now. So that's just to give you the reminder. Anyways, that's all the time I have. You guys have a wonderful day. Keep rocking. And I hope these boob tubers just die back out. Bye-bye.